Ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas Eve. I am your Planetary Defense Commander, Star-Lord New Thor 7, up on the night shift. I was trying to go live on my normal program, and it's not working. Hey, look, I dressed up for you. I put on a button-up shirt. Sweet. Okay, now to start off every show, uh, for the live, I like to do the hey, I have no idea what is in this vape cartridge. I'm going to do it anyways. That's right. This show is sponsored by unknown, unregulated vapes that could possibly kill you. All right? Sweet. So here goes. I like to get a lot. So I can... Merry Christmas. Oh, Colleen! What is up? Let's give applause to everybody in the thing. Now, I suggest everybody. Crap, I'm so unprepared. I've just fired myself. Ooh. All right. It did taste like Merry Christmas, everybody. Grab your cigarettes, smoke them if you got them. And crap, double shit. There will be cussing. Grab a beer if you want it. Eggnog, whiskey. I want us, you and I, to sing along. You ready? Here we go. Why aren't you louder? Can you hear it? When you're beautiful, I can't look you in the eye. You're just like an angel. Skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. You're so fucking special. But I'm a creep. Oh man, I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here alone on Christmas? Like the 10th holiday in a fucking row. I don't belong here. I am great at parties. I don't care if it hurts. I don't need control. I'd like a perfect body. I'd like a perfect soul. Merry Christmas. I want you to notice when I'm not around. You're so fucking special. I wish I was special. But I'm a creep. I'm getting there. You know who gets on my nerves? I try not to complain, because nobody likes complaining. But the people who tell me that Christmas is evil get on my motherfucking nerves. Like, look, motherfucker, you live your life in your way, however you want. You know, adult, consensual, whatever. But like, I love Christmas. I've always loved Christmas. Look, I'm here alone, celebrating Jesus Christ in my heart and my mind. So like, none of that other bullshit from the other 2,000 years you try and slop on me like some evil tar works, man. God, why do people like negativity so much? Whatever makes you happy. Whatever you want. Yeah, Christmas is about the birth of, in the darkest moment, a star is born. And that star protects and looks out for everybody. So it's weird because I guess I'm going to spend this. I'm a Christian, and you know who gets on my nerves? Christians. Because it's like, no Christian out there, A, totally understands everything and gets it all completely. If you think you have totally decoded perfectly the, the Bible and like you fully understand the mind of God, you're wrong, man. You're totally wrong. And so, like at Thor News, I'm always open to like, there is nothing more personal than your own private belief in God or no God or whatever. You've lived your life, you've seen your experiences, you have your 5 to 7 senses which you use. And so you can only understand life, the universe, and God or no God in your mind through your own, you know, experiences. And so nobody's figured it out ever. And being raised Lutheran, we were chose to show our faith in God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit through our actions, through our words, like how we treat other people, how we treat animals, how we treat the earth. Are we funny? Do we sing? Do we work hard on cool projects? That is how we are supposed to show our belief. That is how we evangelize. But that's not how everybody does it. Cheers, though. I love you guys. Seriously, thanks, Astro Fight Club. I love you. Happy holidays. Mushrooms are way too strong for my imagination. Someone that just noticed said that they're doing mushrooms. So, on that note, I don't know what's on the dang vape stick. And so, I'm not trying to complain, but been doing this for 7 years. You guys got to understand, it's like anytime I talk about anything, somebody gets upset. And, I mean, even though the QAnon GSM crew is siphoning off like 80% of all my views, and good luck for them, whatever boosts their self esteem, you know, like a lot of people listen and watch. And so there's almost like no day or no subject where I don't have people throwing darts at me. Like there's a guy that watches a lot that I like, and he was like, "Oh, dude, the Holy Spirit's evil." I'm like, "Look, man, you know, like back, okay, so from the period of 2015, technically 2013, to 20 through 2019, I had a big crush on several pop stars, and that brought me like a million people going, dude, they're totally evil. You want to know, like, there's nothing more evil on the planet than Ariana Grande. George Soros and Ariana Grande are the two worst people you ever need to watch out for. And it's comical. And so I guess that's what I'm saying is that, yeah, everything's weird, but I guess we need to get funnier. It was like today when I mentioned, let me say this, I did the video about the earthquakes, and there's been another 6.3 in British Columbia, Canada. And it's weird because I've been talking about a Christmas eclipse all year, and we're here. And it's I mean, I've been talking about in the earthquake, and so I've been talking about the Christmas earthquake all year. And we're here, and there are several signs that there could be a big earthquake today and over the next 10 days. So that's very weird for me. I just want you to know that, you know? Because a lot of people let the news happen and then talk about it. And sometimes, if I feel confident enough, I'll talk about an event before it happens. Although I got the intensities of 2 hurricanes wrong this season. Like season 5 of hurricane season, I made 2 mistakes. I think I got the locations right in the date windows, but the intensities are off. That's cool. Good night, Colleen. Tell Elon I said hello. Man, I wish I was on a space truck driving through the sky right now. Like, how cool would that be? But that's goofy. I don't even have a car. Or are we talking about Christmas? And so, another thing, I know that I've told you guys many times there's the Holy Bible, that, man, I'm 48, through my life, right? Trying to be the coolest person on the planet, best man there is, that my faith is derived from the two laws that Jesus Christ gave us. Love God above all else and love your neighbors, your family. Right? And that's it, dude. I get and I respect all the words in here, but I also understand that there were thousands of years where this book was in the hands of mankind. And so there are like 20 different there are 20 different types. There are so many translations. If you even understand words as a writer with pronoun, like adjectives, like some of the worst crimes in history have been committed with people who misinterpreted words out of this thing. And so if you have thousands of words to choose from, sure, you can have slavery. Sure, you can have Spanish Inquisition. Sure, you can have a bunch of women chained in your basement and still be like, I'm a good Christian. But if you only go off the two laws that God gave us, love God above all else and love your neighbors, your family, you can't have Spanish Inquisition, you can't have slavery, and you can't have women chained in your basements to be like, I'm a good Christian. You get that? All right. And so I'm not a biblical literalist. And I'm not asking you not to be a biblical literalist, but I'm just asking you guys to understand what I believe. And if you think that makes me any less of a Christian, I'm okay with that, man, because Jesus said, judge a tree by its fruit. And so if you look at the works that I put out, 2,800 videos over the last 7 years, where I've asked everyone to come together because we are all God's children and that only God can judge, and that by blaming and hating everybody, people you never met, we're never going to get anywhere. Roar! So today I was talking about the earthquakes, right? You following me? Why does my voice get so trebly when I go live? And I said we need to unite the Americas. So I will confess, I love Mexicans, man. I think they're great families. They sure know how to celebrate Feliz Navidad. They know, I mean, they're great at maximizing minimal resources like food and like, I love Mexicans, you know? And that I think invisible lines that separate countries are really fucking stupid. And to think that God chooses who to love based on invisible lines that separate the 350 countries on the planet is just dumb. What is he talking about? Oh yeah, some guy goes, hey dude, you sound like you're talking like a globalist. That's what the globalists would want. For you to unite the Americas, Canada, United States of America, Central America, South America. If you united these people and make sure that every single human being in the Americas got a decent Bill of Rights and got part of a CCC program, meant that if you were a good person and contributed to your society, that you always had a place to live, food, clothes on your back, electricity. They did it back in the 30s. It worked fucking wonderfully. They got rid of it so that they could go to World War II. And here's the really important part for all the people out there who like to think they're smart or wise or telling people the truth bombs. All right? That the CCC, which basically took care of everybody, but you had to maintain your roads, you had to maintain your forests, you had to fight, like everybody had to do something and provide. But you got the basics. It also gave all the minerals in America to every single American. So that, you know who owned all the oil? All the Americans did. Do you know who owned all the like natural gas? All the Americans did. And, you know, trillions of dollars worth of shit. Every single American owned that. But they got rid of it in 1941 or whatever so they could go to World War II. It was one of the many sacrifices they asked all Americans to make to go fight Hitler. So the time we're going to fight the second Antichrist or whatever, they made a killing, dude. And they've been doing that shit for a long time. And they've spent the last 20 years getting the lower class, the middle class, and even like anyone under $1 billion to totally fight with each other. And so that when I say we need to unite the Americans and give every human being your basic rights, and the people would be like, that's globalist. Dude, like, how dumb can you guys be? Like, what, like, how many just dumb TV shows have you watched where it's like, dude, guess what? Apple's globalist company. You're going to get rid of fucking Apple? Like, IBM, Shell Oil, like, all the major corporations are limited liability companies that serve the globe. So you're going to pull some statehood or some national shit on me while we are getting fucking curb stomped by the billionaires. They came out with a list of like the top 7 Silicon billionaires, and all of them had over 100 billion, or like 75 was the lowest one. Like, that you have a small minority, a small group of people who have written over the last 100 years, who have written like 97% of the 112,000 page tax code. So that if you're really blaming like all this shit on George Soros or even like Ariana Grande, dude, you are so far off fucking mark. If you believe in politics in any way as making the world a better place, you are so far off the mark. I cannot stress that enough. I don't bag our president much because I'm Planetary Defense Commander. The other day he said, if I got it right, he said, I don't pray and I've never asked God for forgiveness. I was like, what? Like, I'm a pretty good guy. There's nowhere near perfect. I've made big mistakes, many. And I've apologized often. And when he said, if I got it right, that he's never prayed to God for forgiveness, I'm sure QAnon in the group will spin that one, but I don't. So you got a billionaire who's never prayed to God for forgiveness, and somehow everybody thinks at the end of the day he is totally, absolutely fighting for you and every good American out there. And I'm not trying to bag on him. And I pray to God and I pray to Jesus that he will get us to a better place, and that somehow this total shit show of everybody acting like a spoiled fucking brat that's fucking offended and trying to steal 1 million pies of pizza while nobody else gets any, and then they get thrown into a fucking volcano. I don't get it, man. And it's driving me crazy because it seems like the meanest, most vindictive, the people who will blame it. Like today, someone I disagreed with, someone was telling me that Christmas is evil and we're not supposed to celebrate Christmas. And so I said, only God can judge. You know, like, I don't want to talk about this. I've lost a dad and a stepdad, and I miss my mom. Like, so I don't want to go through your bullshit about Christmas being fucking evil, man. And so they were like, oh, you're Illuminati. I was like, motherfucker, if I do have flaws, it's that my ego is massive, huge. And so I create clubs. I do not join them unless it's the greatest club ever. Asteroid Fight Club, The Astonishers, American Bicycle Club. So no, I ain't joining Grand Solar Minimum. Nah, like, I even left my Lutheran religion because I didn't agree with everything that they believed in. So I have my own Norse Christian Jedi thing that's all to myself. Like, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, dude. I am just me. And so the idea that I'm stuck in this fucking shit foxhole between the underworld and the public, and then people are like, you're Illuminati. I'm like, dude, you don't have any evidence, you have proof. There's nothing. Like, I'm like the only person on the planet who's been like, A, we need to unite. B, we need to work together. And C, We need to let all this technology out of the vault to make Earth and civilization a much better place because we've been stuck in the mud for 50 fucking years. If that. I'm like the only person out there, man. I'm not the only person out there who's not blaming it on Barack Obama or not blaming it all on fucking Trump. I'm saying it's all our fault. And that hasn't been very popular amongst the people for the last 7 to 10 fucking years, no matter how true it is. And that's why I get frustrated because as I let in everybody in my classroom, there are really like 300 people who are calling all the fucking shots. And many times over the last 7 years, I've had them tell me I am totally wasting my time and endangering myself by talking to y'all about it at all. Merry Christmas. I have my own Christmas routines where usually on Christmas Eve I'll go with my mom and my stepdad to a church service late at night, and we will all sing just songs, and then everybody lights all their candles from one candle. And then there's always a weird energy after, and it isn't until the sun rises do I consider that like Christmas Day. And so there's the prayer state, and then there's the weird state, and then we wait for the sun to rise. So if you just tuned in, I'm in the weird state, man, and until it won't feel like Christmas to me until the sun rises. And sometimes the devil or some of his minions show up in like energetic form all around. I mean, if you don't believe me, just log on to Twitter right now. Hey, thank you. I'm staying, like I said, I'm staying true to the end. Between 2017 and like the first 3 months of 2018, I almost died 3 times, once being poisoned. And I really thought I was at the threshold of death. Like it was like it cost me a stroke, an aneurysm, last 30 minutes, couldn't breathe, it was I'm 48 years old, never been through shit like that, never. And earlier that day, someone had given me something, and I literally was like, this is poison. In my mind was like, well, let's test to find out how badass I really am. So I'm staying faithful to the end. I'm staying me, man. You know, that like, and I wish you understood that, like, remember, during like the first half of Thor News, Obama was president. So the whole time I'm arguing with everybody on the left, and they're like, you don't get it. He's perfect. He's great. How dare you criticize him? And then 2016, the whole thing shifts. It shifted, dude. So like all these people who are like, Thor's amazing. He disagrees with the president. Then Trump becomes president, and then they all shift and they're like, how dare you criticize Trump? He is perfect. He is, and all these people like quit, and then I get like because if you want to be in the truth community, you need to A, say Trump is perfect, B, believe in grand solar minimum, and D, always be like, cryptocurrency's always going up. If you want to join that team, you'll get your 10,000 views a day. You'll never have to fucking ask people on air for money. And then, just slam dunk touchdown. But if you want to disagree with that, you get a whole lot of flack from everybody who disagrees with you. And so if I've been under fire this far along, and if I can survive the wrath of Taylor for 2 years in a row, especially if she has any negative downturns in her life, she has some extremely emotionally turbulent day that I'm like the best voodoo doll to take it out on. So if I can survive the last 2 or 3 years, I'm pretty sure, let's all smoke one with me, that I'm going to survive. And so that's a scary prospect as well. Like, I believe I'm at least going to live for another 15 years. Like my spirit is so strong that I'm just like a force of nature, a force of will. Like I have a giant glow around me that you can't see. I'm like an energetic element. And so I'm here with y'all for the next 15 years. It's like, what are we going to do, man? What are we going to do? And as I've mentioned the other day, Ray Dalio, one of the top hedge fund managers, said, we're going to get a new world sooner than everybody thinks. And people's always like, New World Order. And hey, dude, I get that, but technically we've been in the New World Order for at least 20, 30 years now. And so you cannot let your negativity or cynicism or bullshit beliefs stop progress. You can try, but I think that decade is fucking ended. As a white Christian male who is a really good guy, man, I feel like I've been on fire from gaslighting, just in a general sense, for at least the last 5 to 6 years. I said it today earlier. I have no kids and never been married, but I have kissed some of the most beautiful women on the planet. Okay. But most of my friends have gotten married and have had kids. And that the majority of the time, every time my friend would get married, the first thing that happens is the wife is like, I don't want you hanging out with Thor no more. And so that's fine. Jack Steele, I'm looking at you too. And then, but I'm saying that like the women have been, in my mind, for definitely the last 15, 20 years, maybe not on the highest 1% level, but the women have been in power in our society for 15 years. The women have had the upper hand for 15 years. And so it's like the more they get, the more they act like the men who they are trying to say are bad. You get that? Thank you. I love you guys. I do. I don't, I'm stressed out about the earthquake situation. Because when Florida did not get hit by a Category 5 and the East Coast did not get, at least the New Yorkish part, didn't get hit by a Category 3, when that didn't happen, I didn't feel that bad, man. Like, I was very glad that it wasn't like Puerto Rico and I would have to cry 25 times previously. Although I cried when the chaser dude, Cyclone Man, was stuck in Bahamas and I thought he was dead. Anyway, so that the fact that we didn't get hit by a bunch of hurricanes this hurricane season for the first time in 3 years, I was okay with that failure. I honestly believed it. I honestly think our atmospheric river team has improved greatly. And for that, I have to give Trump credit. And I have to give Trump credit for Space Force, man. Okay, can I tell you a story? I'm sure I've told this on my lives a lot lately because of all the cool things I've done here at Thor News in the last few years. And this is true. I got on videotape. So I got invited to the NASA Super Bowl, right? And then party. And I got to go around and talk to every single division. Not every, but a lot of the divisions. Like Mars Division, ISS Division, guy from Lockheed Martin, guy from Raytheon, guy from Boeing. I think there was a Boston Mechanic. I mean, their Ocean Division. Like, I got to talk to a lot of people that day, dude. And at the end of the day, I started to cry. Because it felt like I was at a museum. And so I went around to everybody like, how soon are you going to be ready to pivot to the moon and to bring back the space shuttle? And everybody was like, oh no, we are not going back to the moon. I was like, oh. And so when Trump did take office, him and Pence and about 30 companies are like, we are going to the moon, and whatever we find outside of Earth, we own. I know some of the things I talk about a lot, but not much, if that's possible. Quantum thought, I guess, is the fact that here's why I've been approached a lot to either rep crypto coins or at times to talk about how great gold and silver are. It's part of the reason why I ask y'all for contributions and donations, because if I have to go outside of that, I have to sell somebody something, which really fucks up the truth narrative. You know what I'm saying? And so I believe that I know for a fact they're 3D printing diamonds. You can verify that shit in an easy search that they can literally make synthetic diamonds that are so close you cannot tell. They don't say that much on the news, dude. They don't say that much on the next news network, where it's always buy gold. And another thing, this is important as well. If what we understand about outer space is real, if what we, I'm saying this is your Planetary Defense Commander and the leader of Asteroid Fight Club, if what they tell us about asteroids is real, I would guess they are definitely pulling in asteroids to the ocean at least, and then riding it up and harvesting it. And that ultimately, they aren't really worried about the gold and the silver and the diamonds, that there are materials and resources in those asteroids. Now, here's where it gets weird. That technically, the Martian microchip iPhone has been requesting since the 70s. Woo woo! Dude, I believe in that. What is his name? He's an older man. He's got white hair. He did a thing called The Dark Side of NASA. Richard Hoagland. If you watch Richard Hoagland's thing on when the rover, the first time when they went to find the rover, they were looking for something specific. In that, some of the theories are is that the thing on Mars had been, and remember they found a monolith on one of Mars's moons. The giant 2001 monolith was on Mars' moons. Remember, every single religion in history has talked about Mars as a planet of war, and it's very Marsy. And so they supposedly found a signal was telling them on Mars, giving them information. And that, so when we went to our rover to Mars, we supposedly went, and they say that in the actual live video that they were showing, they talk about it, that they went and picked it up. And remember, JFK died like 5 months after we got to Mars the first time. And I even put up, one of the best videos I put up is when I found this old footage of Bill Clinton going, hey, we found proof of life on Mars in an asteroid, man. We're going to look into it. Go look it up. He's going, we found proof of life on Mars. It's in an asteroid that hit Earth, but that shows we have proof of life on Mars. And you know what happened? He goes, live press conference. As soon as he said that, he goes, all right, I will take your questions. And the first thing they hit him with was a wall of questions about abortion. And some judge in Alabama had said you can't have abortions in your 6 month. And then technically, he threatened, he did what Trump did. He said, I guarantee you this. If you do not elect me, the economy will crash and society will suffer. And hey, did you guys learn a lot about Saddam Hussein? Remember when everybody, when the media was like, Saddam Hussein is the worst man on the planet. Is Saddam Hussein the third Antichrist? Is Saddam Hussein going to start World War III? Did Saddam Hussein sell your children heroin? Did Saddam Hussein have sex with your wife? Yes, or definitely maybe. And so we invaded Iraq. Remember that? Woo, yellow cake. Shout out Dave Chappelle, man. Love you, my brother. And Eddie Murphy and the whole gang. My beer bottle runneth over. And so, guess what? We went in there and then killed Saddam Hussein, asterisk. And then Iraq descended into a lawless territory of warring warlords. Right? Does that make sense to you? So he was a dick, but he kept everything a lot more orderly than when you took him away. Called Fefe. But I like that, Fe is iron, Fe is iron. What is Cove, man? Because iron sharpens iron. And so, we took out Saddam Hussein. And Iraq descended into a clusterfuck, which keeps the Middle East in clusterfuck state, which keeps oil above $46. I think it's like 61 right now. And as I've been saying, that oil should really never, ever, 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 ever be over $20 a barrel in supply and demand. That's I don't want to get more into it. So if I want to get test my limits, that petroleum is one way to do it. And I'll say it again. The one time I talked to SO, And the one time I was emailing back and forth with Diamond, they both agree and understand the big oil secret. How the biggest lie in the world has been sold to everyone, and it is like the ultimate foundation of science. Dinosaur bones. Hush. You guys are nasty. I'm talking about the people who've been saying, yeah, do you know where petroleum comes from? Do you know what you run your car off of daily? Dinosaur bones, man. And then they even made a movie with Mark Wahlberg. Love you, Mark. What was it? Deep Horizon. And literally in the movie, his daughter's like, Daddy, I want you to bring me back a dinosaur bone you find in petroleum. And then he's like, and there's a scene where it's like, here, baby, I found your dinosaur bone in petroleum. And the funny thing was, because I had talked about that subject, like, they ain't find no fucking dinosaur bones in petroleum. Anyway. But here's the deal. There's war and then there's theater of war, right? You know? And so, like, you never know what happened. Well, oh, another thing. We've been taken over by the National Enquirer. All governments have been taken over by like the techopoly using the National Enquirer system. Where are they taking us? I do not know. If we're getting wild here on Christmas night with concepts most people can't handle, if I understand it correctly, the feudal system that has gotten society this far, which has allowed progress to advance, though sins and crimes have been committed during the last 2,000 years, no doubt. But at least we kept moving forward. And that the underlying foundation of that system and the very capstone of that system were good people. That technically the people who've been in control have been good people. That there are good elites. And there have always been good elites. But digital made everything dicey. Okay? The way I've tried to explain this before is that at the end of the day, for thousands of years, the witches have always had to respect Mother Nature. And at the end of the day, every year, the pirates have always had to respect the ocean. Do you understand this? And that the digital age, unhooked from our consciousness, that which is real, which is the oceans, the sun, the moon, and the forests and the animals, and that which is unreal, social networking, me being able to come into your room right now or wherever you're at. And so there has always been an honor among of family, among gangsters, witches, Freemasons, even like the Illuminati, like all that, up until the digital age, it has always had a foundation of family. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. And so the really dicey, very biblical Book of Revelation sci-fi part we are in right now is the fact that digital has unhooked the belief system and allowed people to believe that which is not true. Like, and so we're in a crazy age, man. The pirate flag, skull and bones. That's what I'm saying. Like, America was founded by pirates. You know, I know that's not what they're telling you on when you go to high school and college and shit, but we've always been founded by like we were founded by pirates looking for oil. Wormwood. Do you watch the sky much? Do you ever watch what the sun does? Like, do you ever close your eyes and see the light that remains there? Like, Sky is capable of incredible things. And what lies beyond our atmosphere, I have no idea. Literally tried to figure it out. And to this day, I cannot verify. I'm going to tell you another story that I've told many times, that a part of me, since I was 18, has always loved a good bar. I like to drink. Usually, you go to a bar with your friends, or I would go and draw and write in a bar all by myself. And then, if you go to the right bars, there will be attractive women that you can just kind of watch harmlessly, and you never know what's going to happen. And then there's always music playing, and you can smoke. So I've always loved a good bar, right? And I've probably been to Hooters before I lost my car, and when I used to have a job in the real world with real people. I went to Hooters like 1,000 times because there was always at least three beautiful women there. They're a lot smarter people give them credit for, and fights rarely ever break out at Hooters. So I've been to Hooters like 1,000 times. Anywho, so we're talking over, I don't know, 30 years, man. I went to the bars a lot. Now, every time I was at the bar and I would meet a pilot, whether it be someone flying a regular airplane or an Air Force pilot, a helicopter pilot, a Navy pilot, an Army pilot, a Marine pilot. I mean, I've always had a tradition that if I'm doing okay, if I meet a soldier at a bar, if fate puts me next to a soldier, I buy him a beer because my dad and all of his uncles were in the military. My stepsister Ange, the Lionheart, was in the military. My godfather forbid me to join. So I've always been a soldier at heart, though I've never been in the military, though planetary defense commander. And so when I can, I'd always buy them beer. And well, as I get smarter with age, the whole thing about if you bribe people with alcohol or they overindulge themselves, they will tell you things that they hadn't intended to tell you. And so, I'm just tactical. And so usually at the end of our conversations, when they drank in the most, I would ask, dude, can I ask you a question? Honestly. You swear to God, you'll answer honestly? Is the earth round or flat? And like 97% of the time, they all said it's round. And then the 3% of the time, they just hesitated. And we're like, it's round? Remember, my dad is in the Air Force. My stepdad's in the Air Force before they passed away. I got a good bond with all Air Force people. And every Air Force person was like, it's round, dude. Though there is some question about whether or not we can get outside the Van Allen belts. Oh, and so the other day I saw Math Powerland. Captain, the Earth is flat. Charismatic character, though. He finally was talking about how bad the Democrats are. So, oh. But I've always said, man, it's just me. I don't know if the Earth is round. I don't know if the Earth is flat. I've seen Jupiter, Saturn through a telescope. They're round. The sun looks round. The moon looks round. Me and my buddy, Troy, he got a 10-month-old son. And so for like my one trip out of the foxhole of the month, I got to go help him set up his basketball goal, right? And so I've been trying to walk to get in shape because I knew I was out of shape, but we tried to play basketball and then I found out exactly how out of shape I am. And so we set up the basketball goal. We got it to pretty much regulation. Thanks to Sam. Sam, you did a great job pouring the concrete. And I mean that. And you even got everyone's names in. It was very cute. And I think there's a missing thing. I think, Sam, you should put your name in. And concrete's weird, but we'll get in that. But what I'm saying is that, and then we played horse and the basketball is round, man. That there is power in a round ball. There's power in the shape of a ball. So if I had to guess on a test, if God is like, before I let you into heaven, you have to know, you have to answer. Or if like Selena Gomez and Ariana Grande were like, all right, we will let you fall asleep and then we will be your teddy bears. One of us will be behind you and one of us will be in front of you. And then, but you got to tell us, is the earth round and flat? We know the answer. And if you get it wrong, you don't get that wonderful night of sleep. I would say I would guess round. But I don't know. That's all. But there's one thing that like anyone who's been in the truth community, anytime you even try to say, hey, I think try to have a discussion between flat earthers and round earthers, it's now like you just get attacked, and people believe in that religion on an insane level. But like I've always said, I don't know, man. It's a big reason I'd like the space shuttle. It's a big reason I'd like to go to the moon. But if you go back to the 2015 Space Treaty, it definitely would appear there are resources beyond our atmosphere that the public needs to get in on. And it keeps telling me I have a low battery. 3 questions or into the pit of eternal peril. But what kind of a swallow is a great? It's one of my favorite parts of Monty Python, where you ask them the riddle to cross the bridge. I love you guys. Oh my God, Merry Christmas. If I have 55,000 subscribers, I'm hitting a high of 69. Technically, it's 68. Oh, now we're down to 67. Through Thor, your view through the telescope is round, man-made that way. Yeah, that's an excellent point. And so, and oh, another thing, man, people who are going to judge me or not judge me or whatever. I've met a lot of the most powerful people, some of the richest people, some of the most famous people on the earth over the last 30 years. Do you know where I met them or just happened to run into them? At a bar. So I definitely miss. That was the one thing that I was like, usually I get to go home for the ranch, but being a YouTuber, I haven't been allowed back at the ranch since my stepfather passed away. But I have my favorite bar near the ranch that I've been to a million times. No Frills Bar and Grill, love it, highly recommend it. But I always get kind of sad on Christmas Eve because it would be closed, and I don't know. I love that bar, man, especially around the holidays. I miss you, No Frills. So I guess I gotta find a church. Hey, thank you. Merry Christmas. I would love to have. That's what Here's another thing. I started making my first video or film when I was 7. I went to a library and checked out a book on screenwriting when I was about 13. And I've been trying to be funny, and that was why it was a big that the SNL with Eddie Murphy was a great Planetary Defense Commander Asteroid Fight Club sign. To see Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, Kenan Thompson together, that was wonderful because if you're going to be funny, you got to work at it. It's a skill, it's a talent, it's an art. And so what I'm trying to say here is that for 30 years, my whole life, I've been trying to figure out how to be funny, how to be entertaining, how to be gracious, how to be polite, how to be a good conversationalist. Whether I have to give monologues all by myself or be at a table of 5 where the conversation goes around and rotates really well, like a Cheers kind of way or a Friends kind of way or a Parks and Rec kind of way, to where if you have 5 people, somebody talks for 20 seconds, thank you very much, Franco. And then somebody talks for 20 seconds, and it keeps going around the circle. And definitely over the last 15 years, I've noticed that it becomes where one person talks about something the majority of the time. where you can hijack a whole conversation with like, I'm offended or somebody hurt my feelings. And if there's a reason I'm not fun to have at parties, it's because I talk about shit nobody wants to hear about. Asterisk, except for you people. You people! I love that phrase, by the way. If you hear me say you people, I'm doing it as a joke. You people. And it's so cool, man. Oh, and A, Merry Christmas. B, Merry Christmas. C, Merry Christmas. What a year, you know? Humor is also an impulse. Well, we're trying to have a party, but why is my keyboard propped up like that? Um, because I was trying to think of a cool backdrop, man. You know what? Plus, I don't know. It's one of the things where if I have a digital, remember when I had a guitar and an amp? It was a Line 6 amp. Well, no matter what I did over the last 5 years, no matter how I went to tune my guitar in my amp, it never ever sounded normal. Like digital things like this, if I have to plug it into my computer for like the first half hour, I can get it to sound good, and then somehow just goes to shit. So my digital music devices are either gone away forever or sitting behind me as a cute prop. Someone left a little piano by the trash the other day, and I tried to lift that motherfucker, but I could not do it. Because if I had a piano in here, I would be playing that thing like crazy. I am natural, right? So, okay, I'm gonna teach you chords. This is A. Okay, so I wrote a folk song. Here we go. And I wrote this folk song probably in 2002. I was living in efficiency just like this. And that was a long story. I lived in Hollywood for a year. I had an agent, I had a manager. I got to go to every studio in town. I had like 20 meetings with the sub studios. I went to DreamWorks 3 times. They invited me and Christopher McQuarrie, the guy who has directed all the Mission Impossibles, and he's directing Maverick Top Gun. He called me in his office and said he was going to give me a job if I had any talent at all. I had a very interesting Hollywood trip. What was the point of that? Man, dang, I don't remember. So there was a point where it was like, Thor's the next great screenwriter of all time. Thor's the next Tarantino. And so I was going to premieres. And one of the craziest moments of my life was I had this guy who wanted to be my side manager because my real manager represented Matthew Perry and Angela Bassett and produced the movie What's Love Got to Do with It? Okay. But so my side manager goes, okay, so for this premiere, would you like a Playboy model or an actress? I was like, oh, dude, actress for sure. And so it was Kim Murphy, who was in Sinbad. Was in the movie Sinbad. I don't remember which house guest. It was her. And so, we picked her up in a limo and we went to the premiere. It wasn't the movie was just okay. I don't remember the name. But so I went from that to this. That's cool though. Because back then I was like, I have to write the greatest screenplay of all time to save the world and unite the people. And now I'm like, oh hell yeah. I have access to them every day. I can come right into your home. It's a big stage. So the money and the good transportation is in big feature films. And I would still like to do some real quality work stuff with Mike Judge, Mark Wahlberg, Chris McQuarrie as executive producers. I got a bunch of shit. I got a stack of original screenplays, Netflix or just feature. But I would really like to have a guiding hand in the X-Men for Marvel. Here's my cast. Mark Wahlberg is Cyclops. The Rock is Colossus. Brad Pitt is Wolverine. Emma Watson is Kitty Pryde. Because the X-Men are Generation X, I want them older. And it would be totally original, none of the shit that's already been written. I would write it all. And in the midway point, it would turn into a contest between Thor and Superman, see who could find the better wife. So they can have their awesome babies. And so the whole core of it, even though at one point in time, Phoenix and Psylocke and the White Queen and the women try and kill all men, and technically at one point they do kill all men. It's a romantic comedy where it would be like 85% comedy and romance and then 15% action. You know? Okay, big shout out to Captain America 2 for even trying to tell the public what Hydra is. And giant shout out to Thor Ragnarok. And I keep getting low battery, so I'm going to do this chat session until the thing runs out, and then I'm going to find my charger and then make a fool of myself all night long till the sun comes up, probably. Asterisk, who knows? I just want to say thank you guys. I love you guys. Merry Christmas. And the 9 years, 2019, are always kind of sketchy. In the 0 years, we're like, we all get to start over. Technically, if we wanted to and we could wipe all history from our minds and just say, all right, start from scratch. Everybody gets a second chance. Let's just move forward, and all your actions from this point forth shall be judged. No, telescope, I have not had. The telescope I had was, I hope so. The telescope I had was my stepdad's.